My name is Clare Solomon, and last year I was the president of the University of London Union, which is the largest union in Europe with 170,000 members. And last year I was heavily involved in the student protests that rocked the world. For the first time in the generation, students are standing up for their rights against the increase of fees and the slashing of EMA and cuts to things like arts and humanities and funding of education in general. We're here now in Trafalgar Square, which is the site of the convergence points for a number of the student demonstrations, specifically the second one, which was called on Facebook. 25,000 people or so joined this Facebook group, and although we were at one point thinking of cancelling the demonstration because of the vilification of students in the press after Millbank, we decided to go ahead with the protest because so many people were clearly, angry at what the government was doing to our education system. So we organised a second protest. It was one convergence point here, one convergence point at ULU on Mallet Street. The students that met here were the FE students, young sixth formers, 14, 15, 16-year-olds, and they were all just behind me. You can see the monument with all the lions. They were all over this monument. It was absolutely brilliant sight. And our feeder march was coming down from the University of London, and we got kettled by the police at Aldwych, which meant that we were late for the start point here at Trafalgar Square. And people were phoning me and telling me what was going on in Trafalgar Square, and they said it was just the most brilliant spectacle. You had thousands of students here anyway, but then every couple of minutes, from every single angle of Trafalgar Square, from all of these different streets, a new group of students would arrive and run into each other and hugging and kissing each other, a real sort of tremendous act of solidarity. And people that didn't even know each other were welcoming each other to the demonstration. Thousands and thousands of students. Now, because our feeder march was late, because we got kettled by the police at Aldwych, the people that were waiting here, the thousands of students that were waiting here, didn't know what was going on, and so they just sort of spontaneously shot down Whitehall, which is the point at which the police decided to kettle us, and we were stuck there for 9 hours without food, water, toilet facilities. It was absolutely freezing cold. I mean, there were young women, 14-year-old women in crop tops and ballet shoes, and it was like really freezing cold. And I think by the end of the day, there was two reactions to the kettling. One was, what the police clearly are trying to do is put people off coming on further demonstrations, but actually I think more people decided or realised exactly what they're up against, and actually radicalised, politicised many more people. So the actions of the police on that day actually then spurred the student movement to be even stronger, even more confident. Then there were a number of other demonstrations. The third one, we called it the Cat and Mouse, where again they met here and people split off all over London. Police were chasing people around all the streets of London, from as far as St Paul's to Victoria to Oxford Street, and certainly gave the police a runaround. And the student protest finally culminating in December the 9th, where the vote was taken in Parliament on whether to increase the tuition fees. And we organised 35,000 people on a demonstration that day. The NUS held a pitiful glow stick rally down on the embankment, which had about 400 or 500 people on it. They spent £70,000 building this thing, including fully paid private security, fully armed up private security, and 5,000 glow sticks. We spent £300 on getting 35,000 students here. So it was an excellent day. The vote we didn't win. The Parliament did vote to increase the tuition fees. People then further got kettled, beaten up by the police. Alfie Meadows was hospitalised. Many people got arrested for not doing anything, and the police violence was just out of this world, really. So it's tale of two sides, really. Brilliant demonstrations, but also a strong show of force by the police and the government and what they're really prepared to do to students. Now, after the student demonstrations, we received absolutely thousands of letters, emails, tweets, Facebook messages, even handwritten letters from people saying how brilliant the students are, how inspiring they've been. It's so great that you've stood up to this government, and gave inspiration to the wider movement to challenge what the government are doing to us. And a couple of months later, March 26th, we had 750,000 people on the streets, all sorts of people, students, trade unionists, nurses, pensioners, disabled people, LGBT groups, all out on the streets against the government's plans to, slash everything, cuts everything. The march was called March for the Alternative, and I'm absolutely 100% sure that had the students not had the confidence to do what they did, we wouldn't have had such a big demonstration.